5 minutes, that's the difference between being here and not being here and being able to tell the story. Right, February 2020. Pretty much everybody knew what happened then. COVID struck. For me, I just bought this beautiful Aprilia Shiver 750 2010 model. The Harley Davidson V-Rod was gone and I needed something to replace it with. Now, I just turned 50 years old and I was planning a trip around New Zealand. A friend of mine was going to come with me and yeah, it was all sorted. So then we sort of got everything in place. End of February, COVID struck. We'd had everything booked. We had all our accommodation sorted, all our route planning and all that. It was all put on hold and we didn't know for how much longer because at that stage COVID was new. So, fast forward the story, come through to July. I still had the Shiver, hadn't done much riding, but I was back at work. We had all the restrictions then with the masks and all that, so there was limited ability to go to work. Anyway, I found this absolutely beautiful Honda CBR 1000F, a 1987 model, red and black one. Always fancied them, and this one come up cheap. Running on 3 cylinders, but I thought it'd be a nice easy fix for me. Go through, do the carbs and all that. And yeah, I liked it. Red and black, it just looked so good. And very different to the Shiver 750. Anyway, I worked on it, I got it going, and I rode it all of 50 kilometers, then parked it up. Now, fast forward through to August the 20th, 2020. This is when it all went wrong. And it's been a hard story for me to tell. I've been humming and hurrying what I actually say about this. Goes. Right, 4 o'clock. I finished work and I was walking down to the motorcycle park where I parked my bikes. In this case, it's Aprilia 750. All set to go. I'd had a bit of a headache. I don't know, I think it was a sign of things which weren't going so well. Anyway, put all my gear on, put my helmet on, and it's just sort of sorting things out. And a guy in a Ducati, 2 bikes down, says to me, "Oh, love those Aprilias. What are they like? You know, you got 5 minutes and we could just have a quick chat." And I said, "Look, dude, yeah, I'd love to, but I really got to get home. I had this pressing need. I thought, I've got to get home. I've got a headache." And I said, "Look, I park here all the time. Just reach out next time you see me and we'll have a chat." He says, "Yeah, good. So I jumped on the bike, started up. Peak hour traffic at that stage. So went through town, got onto the motorway, and cutting through. Got up to 100 k's an hour. It was about a 5 kilometre trip home. So about 3 k's in. Come to the off ramp on the way up to Newlands where I lived, because this was Wellington. Slowed down to 50 k's an hour, and traffic was building up. And my next memory is I'm lying on a footpath, looking straight up at the sky. It was just this big blank void in between. I was riding, and then I wasn't. Back to the accident. So I was lying there. I was looking around. I could see the traffic going past really, really slowly. I went to turn my head because I was just looking out, and then there was this lady over the top of me. She says, "Look, no, don't move. I'm a nurse. I'm just checking you over." So I was basically flat out on my back. I still had all my riding gear on, but I was just totally confused. I was in a bit of a daze. I was thinking, where the hell's the Aprilia? What's gone on? And by that stage, there's a few people around me, and I don't know whether they're bystanders or whether they'd seen the accident or not. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, they said, yeah, we'll get your helmet off. We've called an ambulance, we've called the cops and all that, and yeah. So they're all on their way apparently. This lady who said she was a nurse said, "Looks okay, we'll just really gently get your helmet off, but we'll support your neck," which is, in my mind, you don't take the helmet off unless you've been seen by proper EMS, first responders, people like that. But hey, I don't know. I just wanted my helmet off. I wanted to figure out what was going on. Anyway, my head was in a spin. I just wanted to look around, make sure I was safe. I just want to do my arms and legs, make sure I didn't have any tingling, make sure everything moved. I mean, I don't know how fast I was going. I thought I was doing 50 k's an hour. For all I know, I was doing 100 k's an hour, but I asked, and a couple of people said, look, you're doing sort of 40 k's an hour, and you just crashed your bike. You went off, the bike went on its side. So they picked up the bike. I was able to move my head, and there it was, parked up on its side, standing on the footpath. It bent levers, looked like the handlebars were a little bit bent. I was not quite sure, a little bit of scuff up on the guards from what I could see and all that. I was a wee way away from the bike, but it was good to see I was out of the way of the traffic. At this stage, buses were going past really slowly. I heard a siren. Oh, Jesus, it's hard to talk about. So cop pulls up, wanders over, asks a few questions to people there, then comes over and asks me how I am and all that, and just says, what do you think happened and all that, and I just sort of told him, not quite sure. And then he took some notes and he talked to some other people and he wandered off. He said, before he did that, he said, ambulance on its way. Anyway, about a minute later or so, I heard the sirens again, and this time a yellow ambulance pulls up. And it pulls out right next to me, and this stage my head's still spinning. I wasn't putting two and two together that the ambulance was there for me. But yeah, two ambulance people got out and they talked to me. They asked my name and all that and how I was feeling, and checked me over. And then when I got a stretcher, they deemed me okay to be picked up. By that stage, I had my helmet off. But I mean, I've been wearing all my armoured jacket, boots, gloves and all that. I'm a very stickler for the right gear. Shorts and t-shirt don't wash with me. Anyway, I was riding home from work. So I get loaded into the back of the ambulance. They look me over and all that. By this stage, I was sort of starting to get quite coherent now. They said to me, it looks like you had a seizure while you're riding. And I thought, oh, crap, really? I thought I got over this. But no, apparently not. So they said it's not serious enough for you to go to hospital, which I thought, oh, great, that's cool. So we will drop you home. So it's about 1.5 kilometers away from home when I crashed. Allegedly crashed, yep. So they said, we'll drop you home, the policeman will have to follow you. Said, yep, that's cool. So I got home, and wife was there, and she asked me what went on, and she didn't really seem surprised. Anyway, the ambulance people sort of helped me inside and all that, sat me down, and then they left. I don't think them really much. I mean, ambulance office first aid responders, they don't get enough credit for the work they do. So the policeman sits me down and he said, look, I'm going to take your license off you. You know the drill. And I said, yeah, sure. So I got my license out, filled in a form. He gave me a piece of paper, wrote the signature on and all that. And he said, we'll be in touch. So he took my license away, physically licensed. And then, before the ambulance people gone, they said, look, you got to rest up, contact your work. By this stage, I was thinking, where the hell's the Aprilia? What's happening? I had no idea. Was it still parked there? Where's my keys? But you get hurt, but the first thing you think of is your bike. That's a motorcyclist for you. We're all freaking stubborn. And yeah. So anyway, unbeknownst to me, some people I knew with bikes had able to get it picked up, and they put it into storage in a motorcycle shop. If I'd stayed behind 5 minutes talking to the guy with the Ducati about the Aprilia, I would have been riding down the motorway, and I probably would have been doing 100 k an hour. I would have had my crash then. And the consequences of that are far worse than what happened to me. Lots of traffic around, and it would have been pretty serious, especially doing that speed. Armoured jacket and all that, doesn't matter. And that was the reflection I come up with. So I went into a bit of a state of really bad feelings and all that. I wasn't in a good space. I thought I'd never ride again. I had no license. I had these bikes sitting in the garage. I had a couple of dirt bikes sitting in there and my wife's RG150, which we'd gone riding a few weeks ago before that, her and I. And I thought, I can't keep the bikes. I've got to sell them. So I put them both on the market. I got a couple of people over. One bought the CBR 1000 and the Aprilia went pretty quickly as well. A month later, the miss was saying to me, the RG150 is sitting in the garage, it's not getting ridden. Should we sell it? Well, actually, no, I said to her, should we sell it? And she didn't really put up a fight, which is just, all of this is wrong. I should have kept the bikes. Anyway, the RG150 sold really quickly. I sold them all too cheap, really. So the moral of the story here is that even if you're at your lowest point and things like that, and you've got these bikes you really enjoy, don't sell them, sit on them, get someone to put them in storage. Just don't do any rash decisions. It took me 599 days before I got my license back. I had numerous hospital visits, change of medication and all that. So that was 2022. I've been in really good health since. But I still have what I call the black dog following me. I know that it could strike any time. The only time I really feel safe is when I'm dirt bike riding. I mean, I ride the Bandit around and do a bit of racing, but I still have that feeling, and it's an awful feeling that just doesn't go away. It comes with my condition, I guess. So, 5 minutes, that's all it took. Thanks for watching.